Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. So it is finally time. We are gonna start swapping our axles onto the OBS. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so we're gonna start off by trying to take the bed off. And we're gonna try to take it off here at the house. So we'll see how that goes. I ended up upgrading to the 2-ton Harbor Freight engine hoist. And I'm hoping that it will be enough to pull the bed off of the truck. Now, I know that 2 tons is more than enough. The bed should be between 300 and 500 pounds from what I've gathered. And this thing in its full extended setting is half a ton, which is 1,000 pounds. So it should be more than enough to lift that bed off of the truck. The only thing we gotta be sure that it can do is that it can reach. So I don't think we'll get quite to the center, but it will be enough to be able to take the bed off, or at least that's what I'm hoping. So anyways, let's jump right into it. We're gonna pack the truck into the garage and go from there. Okay, we got this beast pulled into the garage, but before we start taking the bed off, I actually want to take a few measurements before we do that. So basically what I want to do is measure from the top of the wheel arch, the wheel well, down to the ground, and then down to the center of the wheel, both front and back. And that's basically just to see how much lift, drop, or what we get out of this swap with what I'm doing to it. So that way I can let you guys know, what results you might expect. Now, every truck is different. So just because, I get some results, doesn't mean that you can expect the same. But like I said, it's something that you can kind of gauge and maybe get an idea of what you might end up getting in your truck. Okay, so I just finished taking all my measurements, and it was actually quite surprising. So this is the way that I did it. I just kind of threw my little laser at it to kind of always have a base, I guess, like a pretty consistent measurement. But basically what I found out is that this thing had more rake than I thought it did, and it also leans to the left. Now, I guess that makes sense since it's got to carry my heavy ass all the time, but it actually leans quite a bit more than I thought it would. So from rear left to rear right, it leans about an inch actually, and then on the front over an inch, so about an inch and an eighth actually, which is actually not that uncommon at all. Like, I bet you if you go out and measure your truck, you'll realize that yours also leans a little bit to the left, and that is due because of the fuel tank being on the left, as well as the driver. Actually, I don't know, but it makes sense to me. But yeah, but it is actually common for trucks to lean. But anyways, like I said, we've got our baseline. We know what this thing measures right now. And once we have actually done the swap, we'll come back and we'll remeasure and see where we're at. Hopefully, I'm looking to gain anywhere between 3 and 4 inches of lift. So we'll see what it ends up being. Okay, so now my next task is gonna be figuring out some brackets that I'm gonna make to be able to lift the bed off of this thing. And what I'm thinking is that since this bed at some time had some sort of hitch back here, you can see that it already has a few holes in the bed. But basically my plan is gonna be to build a little bracket that is gonna bolt in to all those 8 holes that this bed has. And I think I'm gonna make it to where it kind of like, it's gonna come off of this. So it's gonna be an H. It's gonna have a angle down this, going down this way, an angle down those 4, with a crossbar right here, and maybe one like this for extra support. And then the actual pickup point is gonna go up like this and across like this. And now what I'm hoping that will do is it'll help me kind of level out the bed a little bit, because for one, our hoist doesn't reach all the way to where I'm guessing the center of gravity would be, and 2, there's going to be more weight in the front of this thing than there is in the back because there's no tailgate. It shouldn't be that big of a difference, but I think if we do that, it should help us out. So I'm going to go ahead, get to building that. I think I have enough scrap metal around here that I can do that, and I think it'll work. So let's do it. Okay guys, so we got a couple of our first pieces done. Look at those welds. So now that I have this, I'm gonna go ahead and weld these three pieces together. And then I'm gonna figure out how I'm actually gonna attach the engine hoist to it. Okay guys, so it's been a couple of days since that last update, and I actually got a whole bunch done. So let me show you. So now, to start off with, I took off the bumper and the rear hitch. We got the hitch right here, as well as a few other things in the back of the bed, just to give us a little bit of counterbalance. Now also, I did end up finishing that little picking up apparatus thing that I did. It's not the prettiest, but it will do. Now, I actually already tested it out, and with the way that I have the counterweight in the back, it actually picks up really nice and level. So now all we have left to do is to actually crank up on this thing and hope it'll lift and not fall. I am a little bit nervous on it, but I think we'll get it. Now, a few other things. I obviously already went through and did all the bolts on the bed. This long bed has 6 bolts. It has 2 right here, another 2 right there, and another 2 by the back, by the cap. So we undid that, and we also undid our fuel fillers, both of them. We disconnected our harness for the tail lights, and at this point it should be, like I said, ready to go. Now for the actual brackets, I ended up doing just 3 holes. So that one, and then these 2 up here, which they ended up coming out under the bed. The 2 on the outside came up on these supports. I know they're not perfectly centered, but that's where the hole already was, so I'm hoping that it'll be okay. It should be. Like I said, I tested it and it felt good. But now, like I said, it's time to really go ahead and lift this thing. So let's see what happens. Like I said, I hope everything goes good. Okay, I just want to point out that this thing is completely lifted, and check out how nice and level it actually lifted. I'm actually kind of proud of myself for that. Now let's just hope that it makes it all the way to there. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, my heart was freaking pounding. I was nervous. I was about 70% sure that that thing was gonna hold, but luckily it did. As you can see, the bed is in one piece. The cab is on its own over there. And this should make it a lot easier to work on the truck. Now, you don't need to take the bed off. You could do everything you're gonna do back there without taking the bed off, but for purposes of me doing a better job of showing you what to do, and just for me being able to do this a little bit easier, I decided to go ahead and take it off. So hopefully it was a good decision. And now, like you see, you have access to your fuel tanks, to your whole suspension, the rivets. Basically everything that we're gonna be doing back here is gonna be now a lot easier. At least that was the idea behind moving this thing or taking it off of the truck. And now, I don't know how well you can see it, but I mean, I did my best to kind of reinforce that little pickup point right there. And like I said, it held just fine. You know, we didn't have a problem with it. But you know, I was a little bit nervous. And now what we gotta do is probably clean off at least this section of the truck and get it ready to get these axles pulled out. I am definitely super excited. I'm in a little bit of a tighter time crunch than I was when I started this. I have about 2 weeks to finish this. And I am a first-class procrastinator. So I really hope that I can get it done in that time, because if not, this truck might not get finished in a while. So, man, I'm gonna do my best, like I said, to get this done. Now, hopefully, it won't take that much. But as we all know, things never go according to plan or as smoothly as they should. At least that's the case for me. Like, never ever do things go smoothly for me. And that's usually my fault. But that's enough of that. Okay guys, so we got the truck back in the garage. We do have it flipped with the bed area, the back, going out towards the front of the garage. That's just so that we have more room to kind of work around it. You know, unlike if it was facing the wall where we'd be kind of closed in. So, like I said, we got this thing to the back, and we did kind of hose off the frame a little bit. It still has a whole bunch of, you know, mud and stuff like that on it, but it's way more manageable, and I think we'll be all right. In the next video, we are going to be taking off the whole suspension off of this thing, the rear axle. But for today, that's going to be it. I think it's already gone long enough, and all I've done so far is take off the bed. I am going to give you a little sneak peek of the tires that I got and a little bit of the wheel, and I'll give you that. Okay, but that's gonna be it. That's already more than I wanted to show you guys. But anyway, check out the rest of the build on this thing, as well as my other videos on the channel. If you like it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, as well as leave me a like and any comments with any questions that you might have down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.